7. That's tough for just 7 of them. But all right, well, man, we've been away for a little while, but we are back live in the man cave. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2026. Hopefully your 25 went well and 26 is going to go even better. We are Polk. We are your number one source for high school basketball in the state of Florida. And got the coach, All-State coach. What's going on with you, sir?
Happy Sunday, Coach. Happy New Year. I'm ready for the second half of this season.
Ready for the second half. Yes, sir. And I am Coach. I am Corey J, Coach Barnes, all those things. And we are of the three, two of the trio that makes up Polk. Our other partner is the All-State PG, Corey Toon, but he will not be on tonight. He has a prior engagement, so he is tending to business. And so we will keep the show going. Show must go on. Got a lot what's going on. Frank, happy New Year to you too, sir. Appreciate that. We got a lot to talk about this week. Action packed week. We back to school tomorrow this week and back to regular games this week, full slate. So, Coach, before we get started with anything else, or as we get started, I know you had a long weekend. You know, you guys ladies was on the road and you just fresh back in. So if you don't have anything, that's fine. But if you do, you got to thank in your coach or your coach's corner. You got it.
No, I just got a few questions for you. Who's your surprise team so far in the first half of the season?
My surprise team. Uh I don't understand what we late. Yeah, we late, Frank. We got, we gonna do better, sir. We're gonna do better. We're gonna do better. Uh my surprise team for the first half of the season, coach, would actually be Bartow. Probably my first surprise team, considering all of the personnel that Bartow has lost from last year to this year, guys that they were like guys in their rotation, guys that were getting a ton of minutes, and they expected, to get minutes this year. For them to lose that amount of players and still be playing at a high level, that's probably been the most surprising team. But there's been some surprises. I think All Saints has been surprised, and I think that Ridge has been a surprise because Coach Skip lost a lot of people also. He lost some people to graduation, and he lost some people to transfer. So he had some personnel losses, during the summer. He didn't even know who he was going to have. So for them to be sitting at 11-0 right now, I do think that that is a surprise as well. And I don't know if Santa Fe is a surprise. I think Santa Fe is on like a six or 7 game winning streak. So to lose what he lost, considering he lost Tate and then he lost, he knew, obviously knew he was going to lose Tate, but you didn't know you was going to lose Ethan Knox. And for them to be sitting at 11-4 with those losses, says a lot about them. So if I had to say 3 off the top, those would probably be my 3. Hey, coming in hot. Coach Blicker coming in hot. Hey.
Look, Coach, firing darts, Coach. Firing darts.
Anyway, those would be my I guess 3 if you ask me right off the top. How about you?
Surprises. I don't have any major surprises, Coach. We all knew Bartow was, for the last couple years, have been brewing to where it is. It's not surprising what Santa Fe has done. That is like a natural pattern that they have been doing from year to year. And this is usually the time of year that they get hot. I think the biggest surprise, I thought a few other teams would actually be better than what their record is showing right now. So
So is it, would that be like disappointments? Is that the B part of the question? Who have been the biggest disappointments? Is that more accurate?
um, I mean, it's still surprising, um, even though I don't think they're performing to where they need to be at, and I don't know. I'm hoping the second half of the season, it's a lot of teams like pick it up and make a run for the playoffs.
I mean we gotta talk. I mean, if we're saying surprising as far as being disappointed, as far as where we thought they would be and where they're at this point of the season, I guess two that stand out would be Victory and Armandale. Um, and they both have some things. I mean, both of them have a ton of talent, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, Armandale, I mean, Victor has played a pretty tough schedule, as they always do. And you sometimes you got to ask yourself, having the people and having it on paper, and you know, and then put it together. Because Victory was one game from winning the championship. They brought back most people. I mean, they lost Q. So I guess the question would be: was that a bigger loss than we gave it credit for? But then they brought in Christian, who's been great for them. And then they got the Canadian kid, and then they got the two bigs back from injury. So they added pieces, but but like I say, they've played a very tough schedule. So they're not like playing, Steam Academy. They playing some tough people, but you hope that those will strengthen them for the second half so that they'll be in position, when they need to be. So I would say Victory has kind of been, and I would, if you ask Coach Fitz, you ask Coach Collins, and his staff, I'm sure, and even the kids, I'm sure they probably would. They're not happy with where they're at right now either. And same thing for Armandale. We still feel pretty good about Armandale in their region, and they're still top eight. I think they're like five in their region right now after the first rankings came out. But it's been kind of a struggle for them as well. So I guess maybe losing Curry was more of a hit than we probably thought. I mean, they brought in Gunner, but I would say those two because of the expectations that we had probably for them at the beginning of the season. But I mean, at the halfway point, what do you if you are in that position, what is it? What is the conversation? Oh man, Coach Blicker is it's a new year, so
Yeah, coach, he
Coach
firing. He
Coach
firing from the
Blicker's
hip.
fine. Yeah, he fine. He fine. I used to have a boss lady, and her thing used to be, Coach. She would fire. She would fire off, and then she'll wait for the smoke to clear to see what she hit. I'd just be like, you can't. I mean, you can't. But that was how she was. And that's what Coach Blicker at right now. Coach Blicker just he firing off, and we
Um,
appreciate it, Coach Blicker. But go ahead, Coach. I'm
I
sorry.
think with Victory, right, they do have a tough schedule. Their losses are not bad losses, but at the same time, I think it's more so a chemistry um, issue more so than anything. I think they're trying to redefine their identity because you talking about in the last 3 years, right? It's Victory has been very good, but these are very different teams. Um, you had a team with LJ, then last year's team with Q, and then pretty much you have a different team now. So I think they have to define what their identity is, what roles people are going to play, and they have to be confident in their established roles. I think you know it's going to be different for different people with this team. It's going to be different nights where different people score. It's going to be different nights where people are going to have to defend and rebound. Um, but you got to accept that, you know what I'm saying, that it's going to be somebody else's turn and go with that. Coach Fitz got a tough job. He's going to have to figure out, you know, which way he wants to go. Is playing big, playing small, switching up those different strategies. Defensively, I think they have some things to work out. Um, I was watching the game at the Villages where they had given up a big lead to lose the game, and I know where they are with that because we dealing with the same thing. So I think it's more of a chemistry. They trying to figure things out. You know what I'm saying, from a chemistry wise. I think it's a brand new team. So with that being said, Arbondale, I'm kind of surprised about them. I think it's important for them um, to get as high a seed as they can so they can play at home. I think that was going to be their advantage in order for them to make it to the Final Four. I think if they have to go on a road during the playoffs and play, I think it's not favorable for them. But there is still time, for them to recover and make a big run here in the second half.
Okay. All right. So,
Oh, let me answer Frank's question. Frank, we took 7 kids to Atlanta. We played 6, and the 2 teams that we lost to were very big. Coach Barnes can attest to that. And we got hammered on the boards um, with their big kids. We just got to do a better job um, in rebounding. We also have some external factors that also came into play. Um, but we're gonna get it figured out. So, but it's 2 quality. One was the best team in Georgia, and the other one was a top 5 team in Georgia. So they quality losses. We ain't making no excuses. We're gonna get back in the lab, and we're gonna be back at it next weekend against Lake Island Prep.
yeah, I pulled up on they played the number one team in Georgia on Friday when I went to the game, and Frank, they had them beat. I mean, they literally had them beat. They lost by 5 or 6 and missed like 12 free throws. And I mean, they gave the people all they want. They people had like 3 or 4 bigs when they even got like one big. When they even playing 7 people, they got in foul trouble real quick with Quint. The Sanders girl got like 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes. So they did a great job of managing the game. Serenity, who don't really, she coming right off the plane from um, California. Shout out to Ro. Shout out to Ro for Indiana. She went to go see her brother, obviously, and got off the plane. That showed a dedication that she left and came straight there to be with her team. So it was very impressive. I was very impressed with how the game was managed, and that was a quality opponent, very quality opponent. So um, well, the thing on it is, and we're gonna talk about it in a minute, Coach Blicker. Coach Blicker is on here strictly for we. I mean, we did something for the first time that we ever have done. We did a mid-season player top 50, and we did the top 50, and we said the criteria was primarily on court production, right? So it was a lot of people that agreed with it, some people that didn't agree with it. Um, um, so, but Coach, what was your take on the top 50? I know that Coach Blicker has very strong feelings on it.
Coach, it's subjective. Um, I do agree that all stats are not created equal. Some people have inflated stats against a really bad SOS. But in the end, you know, numbers do matter. You know, numbers do matter. If not, what do we have to measure it by? It's no way to measure, heart or the way a kid hustles on the floor or, what his importance is to that kid. In the end, um, we try to factor in all of those things. along with stats, along with the team records, in order to make a fair assessment and everything that's going around. Do we get it right all the time? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But we got to start somewhere. Do we expect for coaches to fight for the kids? Of course. Y'all do it all the time. But in the end, kids still got to produce. You play a tough schedule. Kids still got to put up numbers against those. And Toby has clearly proven that. You know what I'm saying? Has everybody else been consistent enough to do that? And I'm not only talking about Santa Fe. I'm talking about other teams too. Like I've seen some parents come on this platform and brag about what their kid is averaging, but yet, y'all SOS is -4. You know what I'm saying? So, we keep that in mind. We have those conversations in the background and whatever. But like I said, it's subjective. We're gonna do the best we can to put a product out, and then it's for y'all to discuss after that.
I mean, at the end of the day, I just sometimes the thing that we try to do is we try to stay objective, I guess, and that's all we can do. We don't necessarily, none of us, me, you, or Tuma, have a dog in the fight as far as who we pull for. We pull for everybody, and doing it, like I say, the first time you do something, it's always going to be um, feedback, I guess, criticism, support, all those different words, and we you create a metric, you create something, and you kind of roll with it. And sometimes folks will have things to say, so it's sometimes we can um we can add to it. We can modify it. I spoke to one or two coaches off, and do text message, and we're very open to the criteria that we put in it moving forward. But like you said, at some point there were some kids that have had some really good first half of the season. They are putting up good numbers. They're playing very well for their teams. Um, and I mean, at the end of the day, we stand on the fact that Toby started the year number 1 in the county, and he's done nothing to take away from that. That doesn't mean that other kids haven't played well. I mean, Rattery and Link and Crosley have played well at Bartow. Fuller's came in and played even better at Victory in the first half than he played at Tampa Prep last year. So he's done nothing to discredit himself. And Barry from Discovery came over from Vanguard. He's been playing at a high level. So I think the top 10 is pretty solid. I mean, there are some surprises, but that comes with right. That comes with playing with your own court production. Um, so make sure I read some of these comments. That I mean, Coach Blicker dividing the county into high major, mid major, and low major. That's something that could be done. I guess we could create a criteria and do that. I mean that
But
that
why though?
that could be. I mean, I guess that
Like, why would we do that? Is my thing.
and
And what's going to determine, who's and what? You know what I'm saying? What if like say Bartow, traditionally good, all the time. Was like 2 years ago, that they didn't make the playoffs, and McGriff was sick about that. Do that put them down as a mid or a low major, just because they have a down year? Is that going to be fluent from year to year about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't make everybody happy. Everybody's not going to be happy about who gets ranked what. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of y'all get on here and y'all brag about those kids. Those kids are not putting up numbers. I don't care what their schedule is. You know what I'm saying? Then some of the kids that are on here bragging, yeah, you doing it against, you know, um, the team of the deaf and the blind. like I said, we're trying to do our best with putting a product out and even the playing field. Like I said, is it going to be right 100% of the time? No, it's not. You know what I'm saying? But we don't want to discredit somebody um, for being consistent in putting up numbers. It is what it is, you know. But some of these kids that y'all try to fight for, they not backing it up with their numbers on the court. And like I said, some of the things that y'all trying to get us to measure are not measurable things in the stat sheet. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We know how important some of these kids are to your team, but it's got to be more than that.
And the thing, the only way we can kind of make it, I guess, even is you got to look at stats, right? I mean, and the stats primarily come through max preps, and so that's the other, criteria. If people are not being as consistent with max preps, it's kind of hard to factor them in when if you got games going on like Tuesday, Wednesday night, or Friday night. I think you got like 13 games going on across the county. How do you balance out 13 games going on at the same time? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you got to have some kind of basis that's kind of a foundation, or that's kind of that's comparable.
Yeah.
But like I
But,
say,
but, but what Blicker talking, he talking hypotheticals now. You know what I'm saying? I had a team last year. Let's talk about my team at Winter Haven last year. I had three kids transfer into me. Two of them was first team all county player of the year. One was first team all county Hillsborough, um, in Hillsborough. But yet they came to us. Their numbers took a dip. You know what I'm saying? But it was at the cost of winning a state championship. Those kids know where they're going to play at. You know what I'm saying? Those kids know where they're going to play at. That's just like saying if my kid went somewhere else, they'll average 20 some points a game. Yes, they know that. You know what I'm saying? But they sacrifice that in order to play for your program, Coach Blicker, my program. Yeah, those kids are going to be prepared and ready to play at the next level. You know what I'm saying? While other people in other programs are struggling to get kids at the next level. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be people coming to you, Coach Blicker, every year, wanting your kids from your program. And that's the sacrifice that they've made coming there. Does it suck that they numbers take a dip and don't compare to the other people? Yes, it does. But at the same time, they are better ball players playing for you and your program. And that's in the end, that's what we want. Like y'all can get on here, everybody can get on here and fight for their kids all day. You know what I'm saying? But it's sacrifices everywhere, and they have sacrificed in order to play there. They numbers suffer for that. I can say that for my kids right now. Our kids' numbers suffer because they playing at Winter Haven. You know what I'm saying? But they make that sacrifice in order to win, coach. You know what I'm saying? Like our kids gonna have an opportunity to play for a state championship. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sacrifice my numbers in order to do that. And that's the same conversation I just had with Barto just a week ago at the villages. You know what I'm saying? Like what's more important, your numbers or the team winning? You know what I'm saying? So let's make that decision as an individual, as a team, as a player. You got to figure that out. What's more important? Putting up 25, 30 a game and you losing every game, or going to a great program and possibly playing at the next level.
And that's the thing. I mean, and to Coach Blicker, to your point, for us, the strength of schedule, we don't necessarily like this week. Our top 20, our top 15, or whatever, is going to look a lot different than it has looked because um, the FHSAA just released their first state rankings, and so we started that this year too. We're using the FHSAA rankings as part to put into our mix, so it's not just necessarily wins and losses. So you'll see it looks a lot different, but they just did their first one this week, and so they also do their strength of schedule. So that's the strength of schedule that we kind of using, because I don't know, Max Preps is, and like I say, we're trying to make it more practical, I guess, than just because we understand it's more than just wins and losses. So if we're trying to make it, I guess, more realistic, because we had a situation, was it Lake Region a couple years ago, where they had won Avon Park or Hardy, one of them teams had won like 20 something games and then get in the playoffs.
Hardy and Lake
So
Region.
yeah, so we're gonna factor in the FHSAA rankings and the strength of schedule with our rankings moving forward, because we wanted to be realistic, because we don't want people looking at our rankings be like, but dang, y'all got them ranked number 2 and they ain't getting the playoffs. Well, if they have a horrible strength of schedule and they haven't played nobody, then the state's not going to reward that. So we said we're not going to continue to reward that with our rankings. But we can't factor that in until the state releases their rankings, and we know they don't do it until December 30th. And so this week, like I said, you'll see a change in how we've done it, based primarily on the fact that those rankings. So each week, that stuff, it'll start to kind of even itself out as it relates to, it'll be more realistic to what the state is doing, so that people will get a more clear picture of where they're at. And we don't want to create any false senses of people's, where they're at with our rankings, because we had not been factoring in the state playoff rankings and the strength of schedule. We're doing that starting moving forward. So, but yeah, we understand that, Coach Brooks, that when we do rankings, that that's what comes with it. And PC Gridiron, I know you say you hadn't done it since 2019. We do it all the time, and I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, because I said we were gonna do one. The PG and the coach, they wasn't necessarily on board with it, because they were like, how people gonna be. But I just feel like I mean, why not? Why not? We tried it, and I feel like we got it kind of sort of pretty right for the most part. But obviously, we get is it gonna be 100% right all the time? Probably not. But the conversation and the criteria, obviously the metric has to, it can be, obviously it can be tweaked. We're not saying we got it perfect, we got it right, but you got to start somewhere and try to factor as much as you can into it to make it as legit as possible. So that strength of schedule, that strength of schedule is, I guess, the biggest kind of thing that's sticking out there, So and we get that. So but we did it, and if you haven't seen it yet, you can check the page. The top 50, we did them in groups of 10, because we wanted to kind of just kind of make sure we highlight the kids as far as how they're doing. And then we did just the list, because sometimes just putting the list out there without any kind of background to it can go a different way. So you can look at each. We did them in groups of 10, and then we did the whole group. So if you haven't seen the list, check the page. We put them out there all on New Year's Day, as we said we would. Try to be consistent with what we tell y'all. If we're going to do something, we try to do it. So appreciate the input. And like I said, we'll do a postseason list, and I'm sure the postseason 50 will look a lot different than we did a preseason. We put in the magazine. We did a mid-season, and we're gonna do a postseason. And Coach Blicker, we don't take, we love you, Coach. We don't take nothing personal that you say. We know what you're talking about. Basketball, and you're gonna speak from a basketball perspective, but also you're gonna fight for your kids. And we wouldn't have it any other way. If you wasn't fighting for your kids, then that would be a problem. I would have a problem if you wasn't fighting for your kids, and because that's what's the point of being a coach if you ain't there for the sake of your kids. So yeah, man. So that happened, and we had fun doing it. We had fun doing it, and for me, because I'm doing a lot of the leg work for us, looking the stuff up, and I'm sending it to the guys like, hey, this is what we got, what y'all think, and we fight bouncing off each other. But I'm just, hey man, let's spotlight the kids, man. If they doing a great job, let's showcase it. And but we're not surprised that it was a lot of conversation behind it. We wouldn't be surprised if it was anything less.
Mike, but I appreciate you, Coach Blicker. That's all I can say. I just appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So anyway, man. So that was the top 50 mid-season. We appreciate y'all, input and everything with that, man. We got a couple shout outs, man. We had Toby Lane from Santa Fe. Speaking of Toby Lane, our number one player preseason and mid-season in our top 50. I saw where Frank or somebody said that he wasn't as unanimous as Tate was last year. We didn't say he was unanimous. We just say he feel like he's still the top player in the county, and he hasn't done nothing to discredit that. In our opinion, now your opinion may be something different, but the numbers he's putting up, he got his team at 11-4. Like they got like a 7-game winning streak. They just had to beat a pretty good Evans team the other day. They went to Sarasota and beat Sarasota in Sarasota and Braden Rivers. So they've done nothing. He's done nothing to discredit what we feel over here on our side of the fence. So, but he went over 1,000 career points this week. So shout out to Toby Lane for that. A couple of McKeel kids got some offers over the break since last time we was on. Jackson Grimm and Marshawn Hillary, 220-26 guys. So you don't really hear about a lot on on McKeel, because you hear a lot about the drone kid and about the Sam's kid, which rightfully so. But they got some other guys that can do a pretty good job as well. So shout out
underclassmen too. So
yeah. So last week, Coach, we had over Christmas break, we had people went to Christmas tournaments. So we want to shout out the 5 teams. And if I miss a team, then y'all let me know. 5 teams that won championships in tournament style plays. Now some people went where they just played games. It wasn't like a tournament. But McKeel won the Chick-fil-A tournament over in Bradenton. All Saints won the Sarasota Christian tournament over in Sarasota. Discovery won, I forgot which bracket, but it was, they played two brackets up in Fleming Island. So Discovery won the bracket that they were in. Bartow won the Battle of the Villages tournament, and Lakeland last night won the Clash of the Champions tournament over in Sefner Christian. So shout out to those 5 teams on winning their tournaments over the weekend. So if I missed anybody, please let me know. But I think we kind of got it. So now, Coach, this past week we went into the we got the FHSAA did their first state rankings, and so as of right now, we know, just for you all, just a recap. Some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't. The top 8 teams get into the playoffs. So every team is in a region. So there are 4 regions in each class, and you have to be in the top 8 in your region to get in the playoffs. You do not have to win the district tournament to get in the playoffs. The district tournament gets you get automatically into the playoffs, but it doesn't mean that you even get a home game now. But you cannot win the tournament. Your district can still win. So this is when, as Coach Blick and PC Gridiron and other people talking about, this is when strength of schedule matters, because we got some people that have been playing, have a good schedule, good records, but when those rankings came out, they were not as high, in those regions, and some of them were not even in the top 8, right? And so we showed it, we posted it on the page, and right now, Coach, if the playoffs started today, we would have 10 teams that were in the top 8. Were in the top 8 that and Teb, we cover high school. I do think at the next level, whoever decides to give Toby a shot, he got a lot of stuff that if you get caught up in the measurables and loses the kid, he can't do anything about his measurables. But if he gets into a program, I do think that just how he plays, his IQ, and he's a winner. And so I think he's going to be good to a program that decides to give him a shot, and just hopefully he gets one. But he does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of stuff to help people win games. So, Coach, as I look through these comments, what's your take on the first round? We got 10 teams. If it's in it today, 10 teams would be in the playoffs, and I'll specify who those are here in a second. But what's your take overall from the ranking?
I think that's a good thing that we got double digit teams. Um, if it started today, that will be in. I know Lakeland was outside of that, but we know that was just because of the number of games that they have played. So, technically we could have 11 teams. When the next one come out, it's probably going to be 11 teams in that. I think that's a good thing. I think shout out to Coach Skip as high as Ridge was in their particular region. The thing is holding on to it. Can you hold on to those spots? Over the next couple of weeks, which is going to be really, really important. Did you water down your schedule, or do you still have tough opponents left in order to help you? I know a couple people last year were in situations where they had to win the district tournament in order to get in. You don't want to be in that situation, so you want to make sure that you have a tough schedule down the stretch in order to solidify your spot, in the playoffs.
And so to your point, is it AC Solar? We trust me, we know about Jay Crosby. Jay Crosby won. He made our honor roll for you all that saw that. We'll kind of talk about that in a second, but he was the MVP over at the Battle of the Villages. So we know about his range, and we're not us saying that Toby is our number one player at mid-season is not saying that other kids are not playing at a high level. We're not
Right.
saying that. We're not discrediting other kids. We're just saying he's at the top of our rankings. We said that Ratter is playing at a high level. We said that Fuller is playing at a high level at Victory. Jay is playing at a high level at Bartow. Bear is playing at a high level at Discovery. So there are
Yeah.
some kids. Lindsay is playing great at Armandale. So there are some kids that's playing very well. We're just saying from the standpoint of and Frank, that's your opinion. If you got Jay at number one on your list, that's fine. On our list, we got Toby at number one on ours. And I mean, somebody else may say they got Full at number one. Somebody else may say they got Redder at number one. Somebody else may say they got Tugger Fox at number one. Everybody, you've got a list. You got a list. That's fine. That's just who we have based off of his body of work, what he has done with his team, and what he has meant to his team, and what he's been overall. Like I said, to me, if I start number one, you have to really do something to discredit me from number. You understand what I'm saying? That, I
Yeah.
mean, and what have you done? What has anybody done to? What has he done to take himself out of that position? He's done nothing. He's
But my
actually
thing
probably
is,
done more than.
what have
Go
the
ahead.
others done to take it away from him? You know what I'm saying? Like consistently, this kid is putting up great numbers, and it's better numbers than everybody else at this time. In a couple different categories. And I think with Jay is the best shooter in the county. Like that's no question. I went and saw him in the villages, and he was shooting lights out. I think another thing that added to that, like I think people from outside they really discredit on the type of talent that have here in Polk. And by the time they turn their head, coach, this kid done hit 5 or 6 threes. You know what I'm saying? But yet when you play against people around here, they know who you are. They know to take you away. You know what I'm saying? And I think Jay, he came out the gate, struggling a little bit. But I also do know that McGriff has put a lot more on his plate as far as responsibilities go, and it's not only shooting; it's also getting his teammates involved. Putting the ball on the floor and decision making too. So I think he was trying to figure it out, and I think he hit his groove during this Christmas break, coach. You know what I'm saying? That kid's playing at a high level right now.
Coach,
Jay
we
could
got
easily take that position over. And you didn't mention the Link kid. I think the Link kid has the most potential and talent out of all of them. You know what I'm saying? So, but we talking about, for Bart to be successful, he's Jay is averaging double digits, Link is averaging double digits, and maybe one more I think is averaging double digits. They need that. You know what I'm saying? At Victory, you got 3 people that's 15 points a game plus. You know what I'm saying? And same thing at Santa Fe. You know what I'm saying? Like, could these kids average more? Yeah, they could, but you need the right mixture, what I'm saying, the right balance in order for your team to be successful. If they go in there and they decide that they want to take Toby away, who on Santa Fe is gonna pick up that slack and carry the team in scoring. And the same thing with Bartow. They take Crosley away. You know what I'm saying? Other people got to step up. So it's important to have balance. It's important to be good in other positions too.
Right. And like you say, Frank, you got your opinion, sir. We feel like we do a pretty good job. We feel like we know basketball. We feel like we watch kids, we watch the game, and we watch the impact that folks have on it. And same thing to you, Ted. Much respect to you and all you do with your platform and your influence.
Yeah.
And like I said, at the end of the day, once again, we're not discrediting any of those other kids. They're all playing at a high level, but we're just saying, I mean, numbers and impact. So if we take away numbers, if we're doing that, okay, let's say we take away numbers. If we're saying take away a kid's numbers and what impact does he have as far as other things that he does to impact the game, then it really, in my opinion, now I'm just speaking for me, I can't speak for the PG or the coach. It really gets very, as far as the impact that Toby makes on the game that has nothing to do with stats. If we're comparing that to other kids, the gap kind of goes even more so. But once again, what we're not here to do, we're not here to discredit any kid. We're never going to talk negative about a kid, so we're not going to talk negative. We're going to always accentuate the positive. So they're all playing at a great level, and that's the whole point of our platform. We're going to highlight and spotlight. We're not going to be negative and downgrade any kid. So they're all playing well. We feel on our platform, the three of us, that's who we have ranked as number one. Once again, and we say this all the time, when we did the 100, put your 50 out. If you disagree with ours, put your 50 out, and we'll post it. We'll post your 50. We'll give you the credit for it. This is Frank's 50. This is Ted's 50. This is fill in the blanks 50. Put yours out there. Okay? We put our 50 out there, and we gave basis as to why we did so. We did it. We didn't just slap a list out there. I didn't just do a graphic and slap a list. Gave you 10 at a time as to what our process was for it. Is everybody going to agree with it? No, that's life. Do we expect everybody to agree with it? No, we don't expect to agree with it.
But we do talk to coaches, though. You know what I'm saying? We do get input.
And that's the thing, Coach. We talk to coaches. This has been vetted by the coaches. The same coach that y'all talking about has him number one. But he also fights for his guys, just like Coach Blicker. What coach wouldn't fight for his guys? I mean, why are you coaching a kid if you're not going to fight for him? I mean, that's just crazy, right? So, in any event, it's almost like, and like Coach Blicker said, Coach Frank, you be hard on them coaches, man. So go ahead and put your coaches out there too. We're never going to rank coaches, okay? Because that stuff can goes left very quickly. I'll go ahead and put that out there. So I know you be saying rank the coaches. We're never going to rank the coaches because this platform is never. We're here to spotlight and illuminate and shine a positive light on Polk County basketball, not a negative light. So if it's negative, we're not going to. Now we can talk about it and agree to disagree, but we're never going to be negative toward any coach or any kid or any program. That's just not what we about. Other people do that, and that's their prerogative. That's how they drive their bus. That is how we drive our bus. And everybody got to do their own thing. Now, KJ, we're not saying that Link is not the best prospect in the county. I'm not disagreeing with you that his ceiling and his potential is through the roof. But if we're saying right now, 2028, the first half of the year, is his production caught up with his potential? No. By the time he leaves, we'd have no doubt. Me and Coach, we talk about it all the time that his potential is through the roof. Because I don't think he's done growing. I think he got 2 or 3 more inches in him. So can you imagine him, the athlete he is at 6'10"? He's gonna be unreal, right? So, and like you're saying, once it clicks to him, and it's starting to click, you can see how he's playing. It's starting to click from last year to this year. He's totally different player than he was last year. So, and that's a big reason why Bartow, like Coach Billy D, loved Link. That's all he talked about. So his ceiling is through the roof. So how good he's playing, more so than Rattery and Link, Rhetoric and Crosby. That's the reason why Bartow, in our opinion, is 14-1 is because of how Link is playing. So, not to discredit Rhetoric and Link, Rhetoric and Jay, but if Link ain't playing at this point, are they, so you get subjective with that. But in any event, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. And we got very broad shoulders. We got strong skin, man. We've been doing this for 6 years. We've been dealing with this. So it's
I'm not mad, upset, or even bothered.
Man. We love it. We love it, man. We love it. We love it. But it would be fun, Coach Blicker. We're just not gonna do it, right? We're just not gonna do it. We're not going to ever do a coach's top 10. We're not going to do it because if we thought we could do it and it could stay positive, even if somebody didn't agree with how we rank the coaches, but the shots that would be taken and how it would go, in our opinion, we just feel like we're not the platform for that. Now, it may be somebody else on another platform that is. We're not it.
Okay? Yeah, we really value the relationships that we have with our coaches, and we don't want nobody, to feel some type of way because we decide to throw out a ranking or something. Maybe like, in a decade in the past or something, but definitely not right now.
Right. Just answer your own question, sir. We rank teams and that, but how many times have you got on here speaking negatively about coaches? I don't think you've ever said nothing positive about coaches other than Billy D, Blicker, and McGriff, and really just Billy D and LBD. So you're not even positive with coaches. So how do you think it's gonna go with other people? You haven't been positive with a coach ever. And if you saw it and you did it, then I apologize. I'll be a man to tell you I'm wrong, but you take shots at coach. You come in here shooting at coaches. So if you're doing it, but you don't take shots at teams, you only mention LBD. See, my thing on it is, it's not negative when it's talking to teams. And when we're doing it, we're not doing it negatively, but it will be negative. So we're not going to start something that we can see it's going to be an issue. Then we're not going to do it. That's just us. Whether we're right or wrong, we'll live with that. So the 10 teams that would be in the playoffs right now would be Bartow. Bartow's number 2 in their region. Victory is number 1 in their region. Santa Fe is 1 in their region. Ridge is 3 in their region. Discovery is 7 in their region. Arbondale is 5 in theirs. Fort Meade is number 3 in theirs. All Saints, shout out to All Saints, is number 3 in their region. Lakeland Christian is 6 in theirs. Frostproof is 4 in theirs. So if the playoffs ended today, those 10 teams would be in. Now, Lakeland and Winter Haven is sitting at number 9 in their region, which Winter Haven probably will go up. They had 2 good wins this weekend over at the Clash of Champions. They beat Armwood, who's the top team in their region, and they also beat North Tampa Christian. And McKeel is number 9 in their region, and they just won the Chick-fil-A tournament, so they'll probably move into the top 8 next week. Right, like Coach said, Lakeland only played 6 games. They so they won 3 this week. They won the championship. They got 4 games next week. Bartow's one of them. So you figure that they'll move up. So, but right now, the first 10 in are those guys right now. Obviously, that's not the end of the season. Each week it will continue. It will continue to change. So right now, 10 teams in the top 8. 8 teams to coach. Obviously, the question is strength of schedule. Mm-hmm. So 8 teams right now have a negative strength of schedule. That doesn't help you when it's time. Your record does not help you. The state doesn't care about your record if you're not playing high quality teams. So it's 8 teams with a negative strength of schedule. So the 10 teams that you probably heard a couple that you like, well, dang, I thought the other teams was, well, the state factors all that stuff in. So you got 3 teams in our district that has plus 10 strength of schedule. So for context, Bartow's strength of schedule right now is 10.32. Santa Fe's is 11.87, and Victory is at 15.47. So Victory has the highest strength of schedule by far in the county. So they're not playing steam people. They're playing, so they may be struggling, but they're playing some tough people. But we know they're looking toward down the road. There's 6 teams that have +5 to +9 strength of schedule, and there's 7 teams that 0 to 4.99. So strength of schedule matters. So the rankings will change a lot because that stuff, who you're playing, will start to factor in. And for our rankings, once again, it'll factor in as well. So our top 15 for this week. Coach, you gonna leave me?
I'm gonna stick it out with you today, Coach.
Figure it out today. Okay. So we're going from 15 to 1. And so once again, since the strength of schedule has become a metric, we are factoring that into our rankings for the first time. So our rankings are a lot different now. So we have number 15 is Winter Haven, and this is as of this week when the rankings came out on the 30th. So anything that happened this weekend, those games are not counted into our rankings, so they will be next week. All right. So 15 is Winter Haven, 14 is Lakeland, 13 is Kathleen, 12 is Lake Wells, 11 is McKeel, 10 is Frostproof, 9 is Lakeland Christian, 8 is All Saints, 7 is Fort Meade, 6 is Arbondale, 5 is Discovery, 4 is Ridge, 3 is Victory, 2 is Santa Fe, and 1 is Bartow. So that is our top 15 for the week. And like I say, that factors in strength of schedule and if you're in the top 8. So, Frank, like I just said, I don't know if you heard, All Saints is number 3 in their region this week, sir. 3, not 33. They're 3 in their region. 1, 2, 3. So as of right now, they're in the playoffs.
The thing is with All Saints and Ridge is holding on to those 3 spots. You know what I'm saying? If your strength of schedule is not where it needs to be, then basically you're gonna have to win out. You know what I'm saying? You can't falter, from between here and there. Because Ridge in a tough spot, because Osceola is loaded. You know what I'm saying? And even if you don't win the district, but if you can keep that 3 seed, I think that's great for them. You know what I'm saying? You'll get a home game, you know what I'm saying? And plus you'll stay away from the number 1 seed. So, and I think they have to go into that thinking that way. All Saints have to go into that thinking that way, because what you don't want to do is play Victory the first round if you're All Saints. You know what I'm saying? You just want to put yourself in the best position. And on the flip note, man, you don't want Lakeland to be an 8 seed, because Lakeland can beat you, Coach. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Winter Haven. Like, them people can come in and beat you. But I expect Santa Fe to keep the number 1 seed. As I said before the season started, I do think Victory in Santa Fe is a lock. As far as getting to the Final Four, as long as no injuries happen, and Bartow and Arbondale, outside of them, having the best chances in getting there. Right now, Bartow is number 3 in the state, and they're behind Evans at number 2, and they're in the same region.
And Bartow, I like you say, you don't want to go to Orlando for that regional final. But I think that Bartow going into the Villages and beating them like that, I don't know if that whole Orlando thing is how they're playing right now, how they're playing, how they're guarding people, how they're shooting the ball, home or away. I don't see that being as daunting as it has been. But I do think that Bartow could end up jumping them, because they just beat the Villages. Once again, those rankings came out before this weekend's games.
Yeah.
So a lot's going to next week. It's going to be different for a lot of people. It's going to be different for a lot of people. Um, I do think Bartow jumps them. As long as they don't stumble this week, which we'll kind of talk about here shortly. But then, like, Winter Haven picked up 2 good wins, so they'll go up. McKeel won a tournament, they'll go up. Lakeland won a tournament, they'll go up. So a lot of stuff is going to change, and it's going to change weekly. It was the first one. It wasn't the last one, right? It was the first one. And so now things will change. So as we move into this week, we have some games that are coming up. Coach, we have a full slate this week because obviously we go back to school this week, and so people are playing. Some people decided not to play over the break. Coach, I know how you feel about people not playing, but everybody is back this week, and so we spotlighted 6 games. Now, obviously, there's a ton of games this week. We only spotlighted 6 that we kind of want to highlight. And so the first one is on Wednesday night. Wednesday night, Lakeland. It's a district game. It's turned into one of the top, rivalry games in the county. Lakeland travels to Bartow. On Wednesday night. It's white out in Bartow. They've been advertising it pretty heavily. Both teams coming off of tournament championship wins over the weekend. Bartow won over at the Battle of the Villages. Lakeland won over at the Clash of Champions. Coach, what's your take on that? That's our Polk Hoops game of the week.
I think that game helps Lakeland more so than it helps Bartow win or lose. Lakeland needs that game for strength of schedule. I think it's looking ahead. That's going to be the district final game come in February. It should give them a good measurement on where they're at and what they need to work on as far as it goes. I like Bartow. It's at home, right?
It's at Bartow. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Bartow at home. Like I said, he just really getting all his kids and trying to get them together. But Lakeland needs that game for strength of schedule because right now, with the first ranking coming out, their strength of schedule is very, very low. So they need games like that in order for them to climb. A win for them will be great for their rankings, but I think it'll be tough for them to go in and beat Bartow the way they're playing right now.
That Rattery versus money matchup is going to be pretty. That's going to be pretty fun to watch. But yeah, that'll be that's our game of the week Wednesday night over in Bartow. We do have some other games that we think will be interesting. Starting with Wednesday, also Discovery. This could be like a sneaky good game from a up and down kind of high scoring type of, because both teams have 2 pretty high scoring guards, 2 of the most high. We posted mid-season stats, and two of the guys in this game, or 3 if you count Drone. 3 of the top 6 scorers in the county will be in this game. It's Discovery at McKeel. So Discovery has Barry, who's averaging a little over 20 a game, and McKeel has Drone averaging 20, like 19.8, and Sam's, the freshman, averaging like 18.9. So should be very kind of exciting. McKeel does have a lot more size than Discovery does. Discovery is probably a lot more quicker. So what's your take on Discovery at McKeel on Wednesday, Coach?
I think McKeel has an advantage playing at home, but I think McKeel has more experience when it comes coaching wise and with players that have been in this position before. So I like Discovery to go over there.
To go into McKeel. That's become a little hostile environment. People go in there and don't come back, Coach.
It's different over there, Coach.
Yeah, they go in there and don't come back there.
Coach, they cut the lights off during introductions and everything. It's different over there.
Yeah.
And the kids shoot very well at home compared to
very well at home. Yes, sir. All right, so Thursday night, Coach, this could be a sneaky good game. These two of these teams we talked about earlier that are kind of struggling, so this could be a good game for both of these teams. Armandale at Victory.
At Victory,
It's at Victory, yes, sir.
yeah, I don't see many people going into Victory and beating them, and that's been proven. You know, even this year, it's only one team that done went in there and beat them, and that team was, a top team in the nation. So even though I think it's gonna be a good game early, I still think Victory will pull that one out.
And we got two of the kids we got in our mid-season top 10 in that one. We got Armandale's Jaden Lindsay, who's having a great
He's been playing
season.
great, coach.
He's
He's
had
been
a
having a
great
good year.
season, Coach. And we don't talk about him enough. He's one of those, he's playing well. And then you got Christian Fuller, who's been lighting it up and playing very well, too. So
Mhm.
that one should be entertaining. Also Thursday, Coach, this is and Coach Blicker and Frank, I know y'all might black y'all screens off, even though y'all, y'all y'all might black out the comments on this one, but you got to give. They both are in our top, and not just us. They're both in the top 3 in their respective regions. Fort Meade at All Saints, Coach. Fort Meade is number 3 in their region right now. All Saints is number 3 at their region right now. They're both having great seasons right now. Fort Meade is undefeated. All Saints only lost 1 game. Um,
Coach, I said, boy, Mike been firing darts, coach. Been catching strays the whole life.
Y'all, I'm laughing at Coach Blick. I'm not laughing at what the game or the teams. Let's make sure that disclaimer is out there, man. But bro, they say they both are, Coach. They both. Let's look. I mean, we talk about players. Say what you want, but Xavier Swain is averaging almost 20 a game. Berrien is averaging about 14 a game for Fort Meade. And All Saints got a nice duo with the Josh Cook kid that's was in the top statistically 4 to 5 categories at the break. And the Asher Cook kid is averaging about 14 a sniper. So, Coach, you say what you want. They're in our top 10.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not just in our top 10. They're in their respective regions top 3, not top 8, top 3. So for a small school game, Coach, this should be pretty decent. So anyway, what's your thoughts, Coach?
Man, Coach Otis and Coach Corey, first of all, shout out to you guys and where you got your teams at right now. I want to make sure we give you y'all flowers and commend you on the job that you've done so far. I think this is a great matchup for them to kind of figure out where they're at right now. And I think it's a clash of playing styles. And personally, if I had to pick, I would go with Fort Meade. I think they're just a little bit more athletic than All Saints. Them being a little bit faster, a little bit more athletic, I think it'll kind of counteract what Coach Corey got going over there. But I tell you what, though, if All Saints is hitting early, that game can go either way.
And to I don't know, is it Pete, whoever that is talking about when Fort Meade? Like I said, let me say it again because maybe you didn't hear me. I wasn't laughing at Fort Meade. We put it as one of our games of the week, right? I said I was laughing at the comment that was made in the chat. It had nothing to do with me saying Fort Meade. There's no giggles about Fort Meade. Fort Meade is undefeated. They're top 3 in their region. So obviously they've had a great season so far. Shout out to Coach Wilson, Coach Otis is, and Coach Otis is great people. He great big part of what we're doing with Polk Hoop. So not saying nothing negative about it. Hopefully you know enough about me to know I'm not laughing at nobody. Never will, never have, never will. But if it's something that's funny, I mean, I'm still human. If something is funny in the chat, I'm allowed to laugh, right? I'm allowed to laugh if it's funny, but that doesn't mean I'm discrediting or saying nothing negative about nobody. So hopefully you didn't take it that way. If you did, that wasn't it. So that should be a good one. That might be the top small school game of the year so far, Fort Meade at All Saints. And before the season, would we have said that? Probably not, but
No,
that's why you play the games, coach. That's why you line up and you play. They
like I
neither one
said,
of those teams probably would have been in that position preseason, but now they are. So shout
to
out
be
to them.
mentioning all Saints at all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's hats off to that coach and his coaching staff and what they did so far. You know what I'm saying? Like people got to start somewhere. You know,
Yeah,
like
man.
we
Yeah.
always trying to discredit, you know,
Come
who they
on,
playing
man.
and whatever. But
Coach Blicker, you know I ain't talking to you, sir. That you know we gotta protect Coach Blicker and Frank at all costs. The Polk Hoops platform would not. We gotta have them. So no, I wasn't talking about you. Somebody had made that comment, so that was what I was saying. All right, so
look,
next,
y'all was decent. You know what I'm saying?
um,
But y'all not a small school
yeah,
matchup
yeah,
game,
we. I'm
unfortunately.
sorry, Coach Blicker, but we don't consider, even though y'all are in 2A and Victors in 1A, we don't consider y'all, and
That's
maybe we
that's
need to. Yeah, we
them
don't
two
consider y'all small
juggernauts.
schools. So that's the disclaimer. We don't just consider y'all to be small schools. Y'all small schools in enrollment only, but not in the level of play or how y'all play or who y'all play. I don't even think y'all play small schools. I don't know last time you played a team that's 2A, Coach Blick. Like honestly, like if I look at your schedule right now, when last time you played a 2A team? I don't even think he played 2A team. I know Coach Fitzgerald don't play 1A team, right? So no, y'all not considered small school, sir. Maybe we need to define that, but yeah, we don't consider y'all small school. Friday night we got two good ones, and this will be our, like I said, it's more games, and it's just kind of what we're kind of. We got this. This could be a fun one, Coach. Discovery at Santa Fe. You got Barry, one of the top scoring guards in the county at Discovery, and you got the general, and Toby. So two of our top 5, 6 kids in the county, and two of the top teams in the county. Right now, Santa Fe is 1 in their region. Discovery is 7 in their region. So that one has a chance to be very exciting. They both have kind of similar styles of play. They both kind of, on the roster perspective, they both kind of got similar routes as far as like measurables. So what's your take on Discovery at Santa Fe on Friday?
Should be great guard play. Um, Two veteran coaches. Um, I really, really do think Santa Fe is really good at home. I don't think Discovery will be able to go in there and beat them at home. I think playing at Santa Fe gives them that advantage. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a hard fought game. Um, this may be bulletin board material for them, and I hope so. I think the county deserves, a great game, and I think Barry's going to go in there with a chip on his shoulder and try to prove that he's the candidate for the number one player in the county, and this is an opportunity for him to prove that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Coach,
but I
how many
still like Santa Fe at home.
and it's funny how people like I think it's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be great atmosphere, great for the county, especially on a Friday. But you're right, people really feel like they are, and we didn't put the target on Toby's back, and he don't care. I know he don't care. He got broad shoulders. He just care about his team winning. That's all he give a flip about. But folks is like wanting to play Toby. Like, Coach, we had a couple people that they gonna show it when they play him. I'm like,
Mm.
what are we talking about? Like, but hey, okay, do your thing, right? But I do think that's gonna be a great game, Coach. And our last one is Victory on that same Friday. Victory goes over to Calvary Christian. Calvary Christian is normally a pretty tough place to play at. Victory is kind of struggling, not struggling, looking for consistency second half of the season. So if they can get Armandale and then they can go over on the road. Both of those games won't do nothing to hurt their strength of schedule, since both of those teams are in
They
the
playing
top
the one
8 in the region.
in Pinellas.
Yeah, it's not them people. Yeah, yeah, it's not them people.
Yeah, coach. In that case, it's Polk over everybody. In the past couple of years, Polk has played Calvary Christian in the playoff. and each time we've been to go over there and we've beaten them people. So I expect, Coach Fitzgerald and his squad, start figuring things out as far as, I see they changed the starting lineup a little bit. They're looking at some different things defensively, but I like victory in that game for sure.
Okay. Once again, so those are not all the games. Those are just the six that we kind of highlight. There's some other interesting games, but also we can't highlight. We can't talk about all of them. It's like 50, 60 games this week. We just happy everybody back playing. So our honor roll from last week, man, we had a lot of kids that had turned in a lot of great performances. Starting with Toby Lane at Santa Fe, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 assists, 4 steals versus Braden River. I mean, he's going to have his team points in that win over Braden River. Uriah Newkirk, Santa Fe, who we may have ranked him a little too low. I know he kind of that's we have provided bulletin board material for him. I'm sure for him and Shannon. And listen, if that gets y'all to get Coach Blicker even more production, and that gets y'all where y'all need to go, then we'll take it. We ain't trying to disrespect you, but if you use what you need to use to get y'all where you need to go, because at the end of the day, we cheering for you and we rooting for you. If nobody else ain't, we are. But Uriah had 18 points, 5 assists versus Sarasota. Charlie Hidden had 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists against Sarasota, because they had 4 people in that game with double figures. It's hard to beat people. Look at putting 4 people in double figures right now. But anyway, Coach Armani Morris from Lakeland, 17 points, 4 steals, 5 rebounds versus Sefton Christian in their championship win last night. Tyson McElhaney from Lakeland, 24 points, 4 assists, 2 steals versus Sumner. Corey Swanson from Lakeland, 14 points, 10 rebounds versus Sumner. Norris Birdsong from Winter Haven had 21 points yesterday against North Tampa Christian. Jamal White from McKeel put in 26 points versus Orangewood. Ja'Kylan Crosley was named the MVP of the Battle of Villages tournament for his play over all 3 games. James Rattery was named to the all-tournament team. Duran Link was named to the all-tournament team of the Battle of Villages. Landon Gall from All Saints was named the MVP of the Sarasota Christian Holiday Tournament. James Cook was named to the all-tournament team of the All Saints the Sarasota Christian Holiday Tournament. Dion Drone from McKeel was named the MVP of the Chick-fil-A tournament that McKeel won over in Bradenton. Michael Sams III was named all-tournament team, and Shannon MacArthur from Santa Fe, 13 points, 9 rebounds in the big win Santa Fe had against Orlando Evans. So those are our honor roll members for the week. We did put them on the page already. All that stuff is on the page if you haven't seen it yet. Great job by those young men. And it's probably been the best we've done as a county over the Christmas break in a while, with how many wins we got in championships, Coach. So what do you think all of that means as we get ready to start the new season, the second half of the season starting tomorrow?
I think we're closing the gap, Coach. I think we have to and we need to. That's why it's so important that we get out there and play against other competition. We get caught up a lot of times beating up on each other, but I don't think it's a great measurement on how good we really are until we face, other good competition from outside. You know what I'm saying? We can beat up on each other all day. We're going to get up for each other. Barnes, like, we get into these little rivalries between individuals and between teams and players, that we can get up for that one game against them, but it's hard to get up against, an Orlando team or a down south team that we hardly know anything about. You know what I'm saying? It's just another game. So I think it's important, and it was big for us to go out and show, that we can play basketball here too. You know what I'm saying? So it's good for those coaches and those teams that did well.
I love the fact that Jay Crosley went over to the Villages, and they had the kid, and y'all know for y'all that know me, know I like Duke, had the Duke commit in the tournament. They had LSU commit in the tournament, and Crosley was the top player in the tournament with all that other talent that was there, Coach. I think that was amazing for him, and it should get him some recognition. He should get some offers out of it. We pray that he does, but he went over there and was amazing. And he was the best player in the tournament with that type of talent in the tournament. So shout out to Jay Crosley. Very well deserved MVP performance that he put on over those 3 days, Coach. But I mean, he was to say that you got a 5-star kid going to Duke, a 4-star kid going to LSU, and this kid from Bartow was the best player by far. By far, it wasn't close. He was the best player in the gym over those 3 days by far with his production, not his potential, not his ranking, but what he did on the floor. He was the best player overall. So let's hope that translates for him.
There was college coaches in the building. Hopefully they took notice. But I will say a shout out to Coach Colt McDowell of the Villages and his staff, and his school and resources up there. Coach, that was an A1 tournament, Coach. The organization from top to bottom was amazing. It was a great atmosphere. It was a great experience for each of the teams. Coach, they put all the teams up in hotels, including the ones in the county. You know what I'm saying? They all had like community liaisons that were responsible for each team. They fed each team. You know what I'm saying? Then they allowed all the teams to have, shoot arounds because, they have, 4 other courts other than their main gym. Coach, like I said, it was an A1 event. I do say this. Jay really took off. He had a really, really good tournament. I saw it with my eyes, and I saw it online too. But I do question some of these out-of-state teams, Coach. Coach, I think they took us for granted. They took us for light, Coach. I don't think they came in prepared. They just think we are old country, football type of county, whatever. Because when I watched the first game, Coach, they played a zone. I was texting y'all the whole time. They playing zone. Jay done hit 5 threes, Coach, and they still stayed in the zone. They didn't come out the zone until he hit 7 of them. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Jay, because like I said, he's a great shooter. But my thing is, don't come in here disrespecting us like we don't play ball here either, too, Coach. Like I said, I don't think they came in prepared, for Bartow. I don't think they looked at film. I don't think they, asked or nothing. They just thought they can just come in here and just bully us. But it's a great thing because it still lets me know that, what I'm saying, we still tough here. You know what I'm saying? We're just not going to let nobody just run over us and push us around. Just because you got, major Power 4 D1 commits, that doesn't mean anything to us.
Coach, I was so proud. I was watching plenty of games, and I was just so proud of. I saw, we always talk about Polk County pride and how we want that stuff to travel. Past we do it in the Mosaic, but travel. And I just saw teams playing. They just could not. They couldn't play at the level we play because we have so much pride and we play so hard, and just our style of play. And like you say, we do it inside the county. We beat each other up. Then when you go outside the county, it resonates. And AC Solar, for your question, Toby is. I'm not understanding the question, but this is his 4th year in high school. So he's a senior. This is his 4th year. So he's right where he's supposed to be. So he's. Like I say, and we're not necessarily into the comparison. Like I say, they're all doing a great job. Toby's doing a great job for his team. Jay's doing a great job for his team. Whoever else has come up is doing a great job for their team. We're not going to get into the I don't want to say the negativity of it, because we're just too busy trying to be positive and help these kids. And I think that's why our program works. Our platform works. Not program. Our platform works because that's what it started from 6 years ago, and that hasn't changed. We're going to shine the spotlight on Polk County basketball. That's why we're going to talk about All Saints the same way we talk about Bartow. We're going to talk about Fort Meade the same way we talk about Santa Fe. If it's worthy of, if they're in the county, if it's worthy of being talked about, we're going to talk about it. And that's just how we have been, and that's just how we're going to be. It's too much good going on for us not to showcase it. And that was not the case 6 years ago. For whatever reason, that wasn't the case. And so that was the whole reason why we even started Polk Hoops in the first place. And so Jay's doing an outstanding job. We just spotlighted him saying that. That don't mean that Toby's not doing a great job. Toby's doing a damn great job too. That don't mean that Ratter's not doing a great job, because he's doing a great job too. It can be multiple people doing a great job. It can be multiple teams having a good season. It can be unexpected teams doing a great job. It can be expected teams struggling. That comes with lining up and playing, right? So for us, like I said, I don't know, but yes, sir, this is his fourth year in high school. He's a senior. He's in 2026. He's where he's supposed to be at. And so for us, in our rankings, once again, that's where we have him at. And that's no shot to Jay. That's just where we have Toby at. There's all of them are playing great, and we're clapping for all of them. We're clapping for all of them, and we're happy for all of them, and we're going to continue to celebrate all of them as long as we have this platform. Now, if somebody else wants to start their own platform and do it a different way, have at it. But Polk Hoops, that's in Coach Billy D's background, and what's on the screen. As long as Polk Hoops is doing it, this is how we're going to drive the bus. This is how we've drove the bus. This is how we're going to continue to drive the bus. So, Coach, anything that you want to leave with, anything that you want to leave in, any advice that you would like to give to anybody who's listening, coach, player, whatever the case may be, as they get ready. The first half of the season is over with. You start school on Wednesday, and you start the season. Most people, starts tomorrow. What advice, what wisdom, what jewels would you drop on them as we get ready to finish up?
I think you got to be intentional and strategic from here on out, Coach. The Florida high school released their rankings. It kind of gives you the roadmap on where you're at and where you need to go, and you need to pay close attention to that every week when they release those particular rankings, because those are important. With that being said, the semester is just ending, so some people are getting people back. Some people might be losing people. Um, but I think it's a grand opportunity. This is the time that you got to be playing well. So practice got to be intentional. Have your practice plans together. You should know now what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are, and now you got to go out and improve and exploit those particular things in your practice plans and when you're playing games. One thing that I learned about my team is that we had two people go down with injuries, and now that we have to go back and look at our style of play, and we're gonna have to make those adjustments. This is the time to make those adjustments. You got to be playing well going into your district tournament. So, like I said, everything has to be intentional. You should know what your rotation is. You should know what your team is good at, and now you got to improve on those things from week to week and get ready for your district tournament.
And Frank, shout out to you, man. Them some good things, man. Keep your kids healthy. Don't do stuff dumb. Yeah, Frank, we got to keep you around, man. I hope you don't take nothing personal with us, because we don't take nothing personal with you. We know that you giving context. You very passionate about your thoughts and your opinions, and we appreciate that, man. So, and I hope y'all hung on some of the stuff that Coach just said, man. And Coach Blicker, hopefully they on time, because we kept me and Coach Billy D. We keep refreshing our screens and keep seeing stuff from February, and I didn't see the rankings until New Year's Day. I'm in the mall. Me and you was texting Coach Blick. I'm in the mall and just saw where they had updated the rankings. And so the new rankings will be out tomorrow if they're on time, and we definitely will, go through them and get them out to you all. But they will change from week to week. So as strength of schedule will now start to balance this stuff out. So, and once again, we're going to factor strength of schedule into our stuff, because we don't want to give a false picture. I think in years past, unintentionally, we have given a false sense to some people, because we got them ranked high and the state got them ranked low. And then they looking at us like, well, y'all, what, how, they asking us questions. So we don't want it to be confusion. So we're going to make sure we factor in the state rankings and strength of schedule in our rankings. So hopefully you'll have a much clearer idea of where your team is at. So because at the end of the day, we want to make sure we consider ourselves the number one source for basketball, high school basketball in Florida, and so we want to make sure and give you that information so you'll know, what's going on. And if you got a question, feel free to ask us. You can inbox us, you can text us, and if we can help you, we're gonna help you because that's the only reason that we even here for. We're here to help y'all guys. Help y'all guys be the best that you can be. Um. Uh-oh.
I answer you, Coach. Coach Blicker, and also Frank. It is important that you talk to your kids. I talked to our kids after our game yesterday. It's the first time that we don't lost two in a row in probably like 3 or 4 years. So it was something unfamiliar to them. But I got them together, showed and gave them encouragement. I was very positive. Wasn't cussing and fussing, but I told them that we got to get it fixed, and I think it went a long way. Coach Blicker, how soon do I start the game plan for regional games? Like right now, as soon as that ranking came out, I kind of started before that, but as soon as that ranking came out, I started reaching out for film for people in our region and in the Final Four. I don't take anything for granted or for likely. I'm gonna be prepared. So trying to gather film on everybody that I could potentially play in the region. A lot of people are willing to share film. Some people are not. But I'm also trying to. I'm looking at the other regions too and trying to get film on everybody that I can. Do I share everything with my kids? I don't think they really look at what we share on Huddle right now. But us as a coaching staff, we have started game planning for our region for sure.
Coach Blicker, you'll be surprised how many people reached out to us over the years and saying that we had them ranked a certain way, and then they didn't make it in, and they wondering why. So when we do it, it's a reason, it's a method to the madness. So we want to make sure that we're clear on our end. So we didn't realize that, like you said, that folks were equating our rankings to the playoffs. But since we are aware of that now, we want to make sure we include the playoff rankings in our matrix so that it's more accurate. So you got all the information that you need for the sake of what you're trying to do. So, you're not surprised by a lot of stuff, Coach, but some people would be surprised if I could show you all the inbox and the text messages. Man, you got some time and you want to get a good laugh. I can show you some stuff. But once again, like I said, we're never going to do anything negative, but it's definitely entertaining. I'll say that it has been entertaining. Coach BD can get that, and Tuma get it to a lesser extent, but he get it sometimes too. But I get it a lot. BD gets it some as well, and we just try to be. We try to help. That's all we're here to do, y'all. At the end of the day, we're just trying to help these kids, these teams, and these programs, and help Polk County. We are unapologetically Polk County, and that ain't gonna ever change. From the top team to the whoever ain't the top team, we gonna everybody get the same love from us always. And any coach that we've dealt with can tell you that we've never been negative or mean or derogatory to any coach. Now, if a coach decides they don't want to share, they don't want to give stuff, they don't want to provide stuff, when we can't help that, but you won't say it's because we haven't reached out and we're not willing to, provide the exposure to it, if and what we can do with this platform. That's the whole point of what we do. All right, man. Well, we appreciate y'all, man. This has been a very energetic and participative show. And we are grateful for that, man. We love the energy. We love the input. We love the interaction, man. That's what makes it go, man. Y'all make this go, man. We can't do this without y'all. So thank y'all for all of the chat. The chat was buzzing tonight, man. It was 2026 is off to a great start, man. So all the games this week, man, y'all know we'll post them daily, who's playing where. And y'all, we say all the time, man, y'all pull up. Go support these kids, man. They need it. They appreciate it. They need that energy in the gym, man. So not just the 6 games that we talked about, but if you can get to a game, man. Them kids need it and they appreciate it. And we're better when we support each other. So thank y'all for all your support of us at Polk, man. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate it. And until next time, man, Polk, we out. Y'all be safe this week, man. Thank you.